Hi, today I'm going to take you through the stages of environmental and social impact assessment for infrastructure projects, energy projects, extractive projects. So I'm going to take you through the steps or the stages that we use for both environmental and social impact assessment. They are the same. Now, I'm roughly basing this on the International Association for Impact Assessments methodology. So follow along as I give you my simplest and most non-technical explanation of the stages of environmental and social impact assessment. So environmental and social impact assessment are usually undertaken by consultants. Sometimes an organisation might have that capacity in-house. So they might be in-house specialists. They might be individual consultants. It might be a consulting firm. But these are the stages that they will go through. Okay, so the first is screening. Now, screening, we usually use industry checklists, and it kind of gives us a big picture of the project and the project location. So we find out things like, is there an important bird area? Are there Indigenous people's lands close by or near the project? So we get the big picture ideas or big picture issues, I should say, from the screening stage. All right, at the same time, and because impact assessment is done well in advance of construction, and it's usually done in order to get permits, among other things. But the draft engineering design should also be happening at the same time. So let's put engineering design. I hope you can read my writing. Engineering design. So the draft engineering design is happening down here. We've also got stakeholder engagement. So engagement with communities, with key stakeholders near that project or for that project. So stakeholder engagement should also be happening. Stakeholder engagement at the same time. We'll put that down. It goes. These ones obviously go along throughout the stages of impact assessment. Now, already, if we find out something in the screening, it can inform the engineering design, and the engineering design should also be informing the screening as well. Same with stakeholder engagement. So again, we might say that the community is raising particular issues or have already come up and are concerned about particular things. So that might inform the screening as well. Or we might find things out in the screening that can then inform some of that early stakeholder engagement. Okay, next we are going to do, we'll use that same colour if I can find it. No, I can't. All right, we're going to do scoping next. The next stage is scoping. Can I read that? Scoping? Yes. Okay, so scoping, we're going into more depth in the screening activity. Scoping is a predictive, activity, and we work out what's going to be scoped into the assessment and that needs qualitative data collection, and what is going to be scoped out, what we're not going to be looking at. Okay, so scoping is happening here. All right, now, key one is baseline studies. See if I can fit it in really carefully. All right, your baseline studies come in, write it sideways, baseline. Now, should I put it underneath? Oh, it's a little bit tricky. Okay, so in order to do the scoping, we need some desktop information. But you shouldn't be starting your qualitative field work before the scoping is done. So it kind of fits sort of here. Okay, I'm going to put it so it's sort of half up. Okay, so some desktop information is needed, again, for that scoping. But the scoping, you'll develop a terms of reference for specific qualitative data collection. So, for example, it might be we need to go out and do a whole lot of water quality samples, or we need to collect air quality samples. So those are qualitative data collection, and the scoping will then inform. You can put some arrows back. The scoping should also be informed by and inform the engineering design. So if we find something really key comes out of the scoping, we might need to talk to the engineers about it and inform them. Similarly, getting the engineers involved in the scoping exercise itself or the results and reviewing the results can also help to inform what the project impacts might ultimately be. Okay, so the next step or next stage we've got is, see, that's a bit dark. Okay, is the assessment of impacts. This is where we sit at our desks and at our computers, and we start to do the assessment of impacts. Darker? Assessment of impacts. You get the idea. Assessment of impacts. So here we are doing the prediction. So based on the information from the baseline, we are predicting what the magnitude of the impacts might be. We are looking, and usually we're looking at these before any mitigation or controls are applied. So first we work out what the significance, the magnitude of the impact will be. We then apply mitigation measures, avoidance mitigation, using the mitigation hierarchy. And then after that, we determine what the residual significance will be once the mitigation measures have been applied. So that happens here, us at our desks, trying to work this all out. So at the same time, the assessment of impacts and those mitigation measures should be informing, there should be lots of back and forth here going on between the engineering design, the assessment of impacts, and the mitigation measures, especially the final mitigation measures. So, for example, a mitigation measure could be an overpass for particular animal species that's needed for, say, a transport, say, a road project. So they're going to have to be talking to the engineers. And likewise, the engineer's going to have to be giving them information so that it can go into the impact assessment report. Similarly, stakeholder engagement should also have been happening all along at the same time as well. So informing especially baseline studies too. And stakeholder engagement ideally can also inform mitigations. Often the community know their context very, very well and can help inform some of those mitigation measures. Okay, so next stage is when the management plans get together. So let's say that all the mitigations have been drafted. I might have to move up. Management plans. Okay, can we see? Oh no, I've got to move this down. One second. Down, you can see that. Management plans, all those mitigation measures, control management measures using the mitigation hierarchy are then developed into different types of management plans. So you might have a community safety management plan, a labour management plan, what else? Environmental management plan. So there might be a whole suite of management plans depending on the nature and size of the project. Now, okay, so the reporting then, it's all written up into the impact assessment report plus the annexes, and it's then disclosed. So it might go through a review process, management plans, reporting, and then we're going to disclose the draft. Alrighty. Now, in terms of stakeholder engagement, again, ideally, communities and especially key stakeholders as well, it should be informing the management plans, and disclosing the draft is also, this is where your stakeholder engagement happens. You have to disclose the draft to the communities in most contexts and online. And in a lot of contexts, in a lot of jurisdictions, there's a comment period where stakeholders in the community can comment on the draft impact assessment report. It then gets updated and then it gets finalised. Okay. All of those processes should also still be speaking to the engineering design and any alternatives analysis, as well as the mitigation and management and planning measures for the project. So there we go. I hope that was simply enough explained the different stages and steps of environmental and social impact assessment. If there's other topics in impact assessment that you'd like explained simply, pop comment in and I'll see what I can do. My name's Risha Hartley-Jones. I'm an anthropologist and social development specialist. I've been working in impact assessment for, I don't even know how long now, but I hope you got something out of today and follow along next time.